Ambassador, in my humble personal view, the arrest, the detention, and the potential prosecution of former President Duterte in The Hague is illegal. Well, I'm basing my opinion within the limits and context of the Rome Statute. I'd like to find out, given your next position as the permanent ambassador, Philippine ambassador to the United Nations, will you be in a position to navigate within the context of international law, whether or not we will find support in expressing my opinion that it is indeed illegal?
Thank you very much, Mr. Senator. Well, first, of course, the Philippines is not a member of the ICC. So we have actually no official contact with the ICC. But nevertheless, the Philippines will always remain committed to all the human rights conventions and agreements that we are parties to. We will also, of course, follow our own national domestic law. And it's in that context that we will work to see how we can promote the various commitments that all countries have to human rights conventions. And it's in that context we will work. And therefore, at least as far as my position is concerned in New York, that would be the basic thrust that I would seek to undertake. Also bearing in mind that, as you know, the possibility that I think was mentioned earlier that the president would be open to considering at some stage in the future the possibility of rejoining the ICC. But at the moment, I think those are the areas that I would focus on.
Mr. Chair, I raise this because if we refer to the Rome Statute, the foundation of that statute is the principle of complementarity, meaning to say, before it can act in a particular member state, of course, we are no longer a state member of the ICC, the jurisdiction, the national law of that particular state will govern. There has not been any pronouncement that the Philippine government judicial system or the National Prosecution Service cannot function or remains to be inactive. There is no such allegation or admission on the part of the Philippine government. So dapat sana ang naunang, kung mayroong pagkakasala yung ating nakaraang Pangulo, dito siya dapat na-arestuhin, dito siya dapat litisin at hatulan mismo ng ating sariling mga batas. That was not done. So, the ICC itself did not observe its own regulation, its own rules. At meron naman po tayong domestic law. Hindi po ako nagkakamali. This is Republic Act 8591 na sinasabi po doon ang nagkasalang isang Pilipino, kahit na yung pagkakasalan niya ay tinataguri ang international crime at lahat ng kauri nito, ang jurisdiction dito pa rin sa ating bansa. Bigla na lang inaresto na hindi naibigay ang kaukulang due process. So I'm expecting na dahil naman sa tungkulin mo sa United Nations, baka makapagtanong-tanong ka naman kung yung naganap na pangyayari ay talagang regular o dapat nating bigyan ng masusing pag-aaral, baka naman nagkamali ang nakagawa ng ganito. Yun lang naman ang punto, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Ambassador. Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you care to reply.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Senator, and definitely I will take to heart the points you have made. I will take them into account. And naturally, in the context of my overall work there, as I mentioned, in promoting human rights, etc., I will certainly take into account what you have mentioned.
Thank you, Secretary Manalo. The chair would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Amy Marcos. Before Congressman Pido Garbin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and morning to our esteemed colleagues. In pursuance to our mandate in confirming the appointments of our nominees and appointees of the President, we are guided by no consideration other than the fitness, integrity, and the qualification of this respective appointees of the President. And Mr. Chair, I can vouch that Mr. Enrique Manalo, which will be our permanent representative of the Republic of the Philippines to the United Nations, embodies all the said attributes and qualifications. Now, having said that, Ambassador, the overarching mandate of the United Nations itself is outlined in its charter, which includes maintaining international peace and security, developing friendly relations among nations, and solving global problems through international cooperation and the promotion of human rights. There is a long-standing war right now between Palestine and Israel. And the recognition of Palestinian state was upheld by 147 UN member states. May we know, Ambassador, whether our country, the Republic of the Philippines, is included in that 147 member state?
Thank you very much, Mr. Congressman. On the particular question, yes, we are included. The Philippines has long held the view of a two-state solution to the issue in Palestine. Of course, that being said, at the same time, we are very deeply concerned about the humanitarian situation in Gaza as it stands now, and the suffering of the civilian population. And I think recently the president spoke quite clearly on this, and the Philippines is certainly committed to helping in any way in alleviating the humanitarian situation in Gaza. And in fact, the Philippines has also contributed humanitarian assistance through the UN agency in Palestine. But going back to the point, we have always espoused the two-state solution. And in fact, we even participated in the ICJ advisory opinion on Palestine recently. We also made a submission. We were one of a number of states to do so. So our commitment to ensure that the situation in Gaza does not continue as long with respect to the humanitarian suffering and costs to the women, children, and people in Gaza.
But, Mr. Ambassador, would you agree with me that due to the long-running dispute between Palestine and the Israel, which has been, internationally agreed, it has no internationally agreed boundaries as of yet. And in fact, given its status, they are just a quasi-state. But as you have said, we continuously recognize the two-state solution, and we fully support the same. In according assistance to Palestinian citizen, could you enlighten us whether we accept refugees here in our country?
Well, at the moment, I'm not aware of any particular law. I think we would have to consult our Justice Department on these points, on the possibility of accepting. But I think the issue we should really focus at the moment is first how to alleviate the suffering of the people in Gaza, and how we can support efforts, hopefully at some point, not only to achieve a ceasefire, but eventually to see and really consider seriously on the possibility of the two-state solution. I think these are the immediate things. But in terms of the refugee issue, of course, I'm not aware. I could be wrong if we have any law, but I think if we do, it would also have to involve other agencies in the Philippine government to consider this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Now, your statement on the support of the two-state solution as represents a strong and moral and political statement for the Republic of the Philippines, and we should continue to support the same. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Garbin. Senator Marcos?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I don't know if this has been taken up. I apologize. There are so many committees going on, committee hearings. To Secretary Manalo, I'm sorry, you're still Secretary by habit. Makikibalita lang po tungkol sa bid natin to be a member of the UN Security Council. What are our chances of occupying the Asia-Pacific chair? And what are you doing to campaign? Because I know it involves a lot of lobbying and coalition building among our group.
Could I say that I think our chances are good, and we have been campaigning really quite dexterously, especially in the past couple of years. Our campaign has been at various levels. When I was secretary, with my counterparts, the president, in fact, the president is scheduled to go to the UN this month, also to lobby. So at all various levels, our embassies abroad, our officials in the department, at various levels, undersecretary, whenever we meet our counterparts, we've always campaigned hard and sought their support. We've also had official exchanges through notes verbal of support. And so we have really worked very hard on that. We have also taken advantage of not only meetings in the UN to meet our counterparts, but we have also attended selected meetings where we feel we can make the most or take advantage of opportunities of meeting our counterparts. For example, in my case this year, I went to the meeting of the CARICOM, Caribbean Community Countries, at ministerial level, and I was able to meet most of the ministers of the Caribbean
Bumoboto
countries.
pala lahat. Akala ko yung Asia Pacific lamang pag yun lang ang pinaglalabanan. Pati Caribbean kasali sa botohan.
Oh, yung buong, the whole General Assembly. has
Oh,
to vote.
okay.
But
Even if it's only for a specific region.
just
I see.
so
As I recall in the UN, it involved a lot of whining and dining. Eh, talong-talo tayo sa mga budget nila. Anong ginagawa ninyo?
well,
At sino yung karibal natin? Sino pa sa Asia Pacific ang pumupustura?
Kyrgyzstan.
I see.
And yes, it involves whining and dining and gaining pounds and cholesterol, but we also try to, and we dine reasonably priced dining. But that's not the only thing, dining and whining. We take advantage too of meetings. And,
Yes, of course,
And
of
even formal meetings. Yung mga, for example, we have regular joint consultation meetings with a number of countries. We always take advantage of that to raise our concerns. I mean, our campaign and our
Yes.
seeking their
I think you're way ahead in that regard, having been in the UN for so many decades at this point. And I was just going to ask you something a little bit stickier. And as the former Secretary of Foreign Affairs, what can you say about the newly opened Mahatao base in Batanes, binuksan noong 28 August, to house Philippine Navy and military units? In your view, will this worsen the tension with China and escalate the already highly escalated Taiwan Straits atmosphere?
Well, I'll take a risk at answering that. Since
Yes, I'm not going to pin you to this. You're no longer the secretary. It's just your personal opinion
I think
as
that
an experienced and professional diplomat.
I
Please go
think
ahead.
that move, when looked at carefully, is part of the policy we had to try and at least strengthen the security capabilities of the Philippines. Really aimed not at any country, any particular issue, but just to place the Philippines in a position that, if necessary, at least we have the means to at least create some form of deterrence. And it also puts us in a spot to help, not only in terms of traditional security, but with our armed forces there, they will also be in a position to help in providing humanitarian assistance in case of any climatic catastrophes or disasters in that area. So I think it's really overall making the Philippines in a better position to fend for itself militarily, defensively, and also economically. I think ultimately it's up to the Philippines to ensure that we ourselves can defend ourselves, whether it's through military means or diplomatic means or even economic means.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador.